Last time with the editor, we went into some of the complexities of making a hero, making them larger, have more abilities, and to look more hero-like rather than just a unit that happened to have that title. And while that's a pretty solid staple of action, adventure, and some RPGs, this time we're going to shift genres a little bit and go to a very specific subgenre of survival horror. One of the things I like about survival horror or survivor action games in general is that if well constructed, they give the player the sense that they're facing overwhelming odds, that even if they win, they barely win, or their chances of so doing are very, very slim. One of the ways that you can do that, and one of the ways that has been historically successful throughout zombie apocalypse type games, ranging from Resident Evil 4 to not as quite as well done in things such as Left 4 Dead, is ammunition. You can lower the amount of shots that your hero or attacking units or survivors, as we'll call them, have. And if you can lower the number of attacks that the survivors can have and make them scrape around for ammunition, you've really got the tension built up. Just make sure not to balance it too much with frustration, but you've got something good to work with. So we're going to go ahead and make that. We're going to make that ammunition and that reloading system. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to copy from an existing unit before we go ahead and make our first unit. I think the unit that we're going to copy from in here, in this case, is going to be the archer. And because we are not a hero, we're going to call ourselves, oh, I don't know, Z Survivor. Again, we call it Z Survivor because of the convention that we want it to be easily accessible to us. And it's more easy, or it's easier, one might even say, to access these things if they're alphabetized. And one way to alphabetize them is to put them at the bottom by putting a Z at the beginning of their name. So Z Survivor is just any other archer, and I think we're going to change what the archer looks like. Maybe over to this rifleman. Yeah, and the description is just going to be, let's see, Survivor. For now. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Okay, so the first thing is this survivor that we have, or these survivors that we have, they're functionally archers. They have a different description, they have a different skin on them, but they're functionally the same as archers. One way that we can fix that is we can make that first part of the ammunition system, make it so they don't have infinite attacks, or if they do, it comes at a cost. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to copy Fireball. Now, I've copied Fireball for so many things. It's just an amazing base skill to have access to, and something that we're really, really going to benefit from as we do all of these tutorials. As soon as I can find it, there we go. So we're going to copy it from Fireball, and we're just going to call this Shoot. And it's going to be called Z Shoot. And again, this tutorial hopefully is going to be much smaller. The scope of it is much smaller, but you'll see that we can still make something that's fairly cool at the end of this. So right now, Z-Shoot is Fireball. So we're going to change a couple properties about it. We still want the target to be a point. We still want the player to have to aim. You know, they have a 360-degree circle of vision in a circle, as I said, around their character, around their survivor. So we can kind of make it more interesting by forcing them to target a point rather than the target enemy units. That's fine. However, what we are going to do are a couple of other things. This description, no, it's going to be shoot. And we're going to get rid of the requirements for much the same reason as I talked about in the hero video. We're going to change the mana cost, I believe, to 1. And rather than have this flame launch sound as flame strike, I think we can just change it to gun. Just because I don't want to hear flame strike sounds constantly. It's not a requirement, just peace of mind. We want this to do a raw set amount of damage, so we're just going to have it do 5 damage. Given how much health the units have, by default, 160, maybe 10, so that we can show that it's working. We're going to remove the projectile damage, because we don't want it to do damage while it's traveling. We don't want it to have an AoE radius of damage while it's traveling. Nor do we want it to maximize its range, although you can certainly choose to put in that feature. And we're going to allow it to hit friendly and allow it to hit self. We're going to remove its exclusion from attacking flying units. It has a given projectile speed. We're going to get rid of its casting delay, and we're going to get rid of its cooldown and its cooldown too. We might speed up its casting speed, or its projectile speed. An archer's normal projectile speed, I believe, is from 10 to 12. So I don't think it's too much to ask for to set the projectile speed of a gun to be at about the same speed as an archer shooting. It'll also sync up with the animation of these archers turned rifle. Causes flame death, you know what? Sure, that's fine. Now, the second part is we have made this Z shoot ability, and we're going to append it to our survivors so that they can use it. The problem is they can't use this ability right now. And why can't they use this ability? Well, two things. We haven't given it to them. To add the command for Z shoot onto these Z survivors. So that's going to be the first thing that we're going to do. We're going to go add, scroll all the way to the bottom, and we find our Z shoot command and we add it. But we want to make sure that these survivors can only attack using the Z shoot ability that we've made. So we're going to remove a move, and we're going to remove the attack command. Now the second thing is Z shoot costs 1 mana, and currently these units don't have any mana, so they won't be able to do any damage. So we're going to give them mana, which again is maximum mana, of 5, and start mana, which is how much they start with of their possible maximum mana, of 5. Once we do that, you're going to see that we have 3 survivors. They have 5 of their 5 mana, and they have this, Q is a bit interesting, but oh look, we can fire at a place. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Now, the problem we have here is that we set the target to be a point, and look how precise it has to be to hit that point. So for instance, none of those hit. And we had to hit very precisely onto this point. If you like that, that's fine. If you don't like that, we can slightly increase the area of effect, or the AoE, of the ability, so that when it shoots, there's some leniency in what it actually hits. What it's actually connecting with is something akin to the character model circle that you see, like the little selection circle you see behind the character. So, but if you like that, that's fine. Look at what we've got now. We've fired 15 bullets, quote, quote, using our Z shoot ability. We had to manually aim them. They cost 1 mana each, and now that we're out of mana, we can no longer use them. This leads into the second part of our ammunition system. Reloading. How does one reload? How does one get the ability to do this again? So, what we need from reloading is fundamentally this. We need to make a resource that converts something into mana for these survivors. That's what the reload command needs to do. I would suggest one way to do that is to make it so that when we use the reload ability, it costs gold and adds mana. Now, fortunately, there is already an ability that doesn't cost gold and add mana, but similarly, it costs mana to heal individuals. So we're going to go copy the heal spell. This is another spell that you're going to ability that you're going to make a lot of copies of if you're working in the editor, and it's very malleable. I highly suggest that you do. So we're going to call this ID string of our clone from heal reload. And then, of course, we're going to give the name Z reload. Now, we have to change reload a little bit. The target isn't the unit. It's just going to be is instant. It's going to be something that we have happen to ourselves automatically. The second thing is we want this ability to, well, first off, this description, no. We're just going to say that it reloads the gun. The second thing is we want the mana cost of this to be 0, but the gold cost of this to be 1. We don't want it to do or any damage or negative damage, as the case may be. All seems to be fine. Now, this is where the modifiers we were talking about in the previous editor video come in handy, because we're going to, of course, make it so that this just happens instantly, because that's cool for us, right? We're going to do modifierSelf. ModifierSelf, here's the tooltip. The modifier this ability applies to the caster. Put multiple modifiers if you have a multiple level ability. We don't have a multiple level ability, but we do have a modifier that we want this ability to apply to the caster. So we're going to add, but not yet, because we need a modifier. So right now, this spell, if we add it, this ability, this reload ability, if we add it to the survivor, we'll just take 1 gold from them. But that's not enough. So we have to make a modifier for what good thing happens. Now again, what the good thing is that we want the player to get all of their mana back for 1 gold. So we're going to copy damage buff because of course we're going to copy damage buff, and we're going to make reload modifier and Z reload modifier. Here's how this works. Z reload modifier. We want the player they currently have, and you have to do some math here, and it won't be perfect, but that's fine. The player has 5 mana. We want them very, 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 very quickly, or maybe you don't, maybe you want to be slower, to go back up to their maximum mana. So, let's say we want this to last. Let's do something comparatively slow. 1 mana. We want the modification to be that the mana regeneration rate of the character starts, because the survivor doesn't have any mana regeneration rate, because mana is a proxy for bullets in this mod, in what we're doing. So if we increase the mana regeneration rate, let's say we add, 5 to it, that means it should regenerate 5 mana per second over a duration of 1 second. We'll do 1.05 just to make sure. And 1 stack, so they can't be doing this more than once. And that means that after 1-ish second, the survivor should have replenished 5 mana. Okay, cool. So now we seem to have, once we put this in, if it works the way that we would like it to, we seem to have a system whereby the survivor can shoot and reload. Now, don't forget to go back to reload and go to modifierSelf. We have to add this modifier that we just made, reload modifier, into modifierSelf. Because when the survivor casts the ability of Z reload, they have to pay 1 gold to use it. And then it will apply the reload modifier to the survivor. So, let's go ahead, add that ability to the survivor. Something I just thought of, let's make sure that Z reload can be seen. And what I mean by that is when we go to abilities, we need to make sure that Z reloads XY coordinate, 1, 1, is not the same as Z shoots XY coordinate, 0, 1. They're not. Okay. Are they the same hotkey? No. W and Q. Again, we can change these hotkeys, but we're getting into the specifics of how this works on the most fundamental level. You can tweak this endlessly. This is just a primer. So we're going to go and we're going to make sure that the survivor has reload and they have shoot. And we look, yeah, they've got shoot and they've got reload. Okay, let's use our survivor. All right, here we go. We've got a survivor. He's got a gun. Q, Q, Q. Okay, he has no guns. He has no bullets left. He has no mana, which is, again, our proxy for the bullets left in this clip. W reloads the gun. Oh, and there we go. It cost 1 gold. We went from 50 to 49, and we regenerated the mana. Now, one downside is this is something that you can, kind of improve on yourself. But, oh, look. It turns out we can reload and then shoot while we're reloading. So if you want to make like a Gears of War system where you can't fire or use the gun while you're reloading, or something like Halo, yeah, there's a little more work that goes into that. But just now, look, we can spend all the shooty shoots, we can reload, and then we can fire again. And that system works. There's only one final piece that we need to add, which is the game has to give the players gold somewhere. It's fine if we start the player with a certain amount of gold as a cash or a stash, but let's say that you want the game to be such that the player starts with, I don't know, let's do what we should do, right? Player starts with 2 gold, maximum supply of 10, and we're going to call this, I don't know, ammo system, ammo tutorial unlocked. Yeah. Fire bullets and reload them. Awesome. We're going to go ahead and change all of these to closed, because why not? Cool. Okay, so we have a name, we have a description, and we have 2 gold. So now the problem is we don't have 50 gold with which to just willy-nilly and then reload and then yeah, and then reload and then awesome. Watch this, guys. Yes. Oh, wait a second. We can't reload. There's no system for which we can reload. Now, fortunately, we can use something. This final bit we can use kind of as an addendum to the hero editor tutorial. So you can make units give experience when they die, but we're not using an experience system. But similarly, you can make them give gold when they die. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make we're going to do something kind of interesting. We're going to make a unit that looks like a box. What? Oh yeah, we're going to make a unit that looks like a box. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to copy, we're going to copy from skeleton. No, not skeleton. It causes some problems because of its lifetime. We're going to copy from wolf. Sure. And we're going to have this wolf just be called, I don't know, ammo box. Not a move box, but ammo box. And then this is going to be Z, ammo box. Well, what are you talking about? How could this possibly be an ammo box? It's a wolf. Duh, obviously. Well, there is a trick. Doop. There is a trick. And the trick is as follows. Oh, look. That ammo box wolf looks awfully like an armory right now. So we're going to have to change a couple of things. So let's see. Let's give him 1 hit point, and I don't think he should be able to move at all. And we should probably remove all of his abilities so that this wolf, quote, can't do anything but sit there and die. Now, gold reward. If this is bigger than 0, a player who kills this unit will get gold rewarded according to this value. So we're going to make the gold reward of this ammo box, quote, 2. And we're going to make a hover text. So when we look over the item, we can see what it is. So ammo box. We're going to call this ammo box medium. And just say that 2 gives medium for whatever reason. Okay. Awesome. Here we go. We're going to make this player 2. Congrats, player 2. And now we're just going to populate with ammo boxes. Cool. We're going to start, and we're going to see what we got. Okay, here we go. We're shooting. We're good. We go to 1. Wait a second. We've got a... Huh? Well, you may have noticed the problem here. Remember, we have to actually hit the point at which the ammo box exists to kill it. But once we did, look, we have 3 ammo now. And we can reload. And now we can go over here. And we get another 2. It is funny to watch the ammo box just like shunt to the side like that. Not gonna lie to you, it's very satisfying, in fact. And we have missed every single shot. And we are still, there we go, in the process of missing shots. But you can see we've now made an ammo system. So all we can do now is kind of improve the system a little bit. Like, we kept missing a bunch of those shots, and that didn't feel very good. There's a couple things that we can do. We can improve the actual size of these wolves. Because notice the selection circle. These aren't very big ammo boxes, so hitting them is very hard. And you don't want players to hit into the text of the ammo box and then not get anything from it. That just feels kind of bad, right? But these ammo boxes are also just kind of big for what they are. So the next couple of steps are going to be cosmetic. I think we're just going to make them like 0.66. Make these ammo boxes, maybe even 0.5. Just make these ammo boxes smaller. after we've made the ammo boxes smaller, we're going to make it so that the area that we're affecting or trying to affect when we hit them gets bigger. So circle size, the size of the circle, the size of the selection circle of this unit. But also size. This determines when a unit combines with other units or map objects. Ground units with a size bigger than 2 might cause pathing issues. So what we're going to do is we're going to increase its size by 50%, and we're going to increase its circle size by 50%, roughly. And now we're going to try and select one of these. Oh, look, you see that circle that's kind of around it? Like if you zoom in, you can see, oh, look, that circle around it. So if all went well, that means it should be much easier for us to just shoot Duke. Yeah, look how much easier it is for us to just say, no, that's my ammo box. That's my ammo box. That's my ammo box. And now, without even changing the accuracy or the properties of shoot, we've made it easier to kill the ammo boxes. It's less frustrating. So we'll go quickly over what we've actually learned here while we make something very small for a couple of survivors to go through. So we made a survivor. We took away the attack abilities on that survivor. In doing so, we made it so that the only means of attack was a custom ability that we made called Z-Shoot, which, if we were going to polish this off, we would change it to be not called Z-Shoot. We would change it to be called, I don't know, literally something better than Z-Shoot. Maybe just shoot. Maybe just bang. Something of that nature. We've also then decided that we're going to add a reload feature. So Z-Shoot is this ability that fires a shot in exchange for mana. However, we can make it so that when the player runs out of mana, they can use another resource to seem to be the clip size or the number of total rounds that they have access to through gold as a secondary resource. So we've used the primary resource of the Z Survivor's mana to indicate bullets left in a clip, and then we have used gold to indicate how many clips are left and what total access the player has left. Even so, we don't want the player to run out without feeling as if there is some place to go get extra resources. So what we've done is we've made these modified armories called ammo boxes. And the benefit for us of these units that are actually ammo boxes is now we have many of the properties of a unit in that it gets gold reward when it is killed, and it is fairly quick to make. But the benefit is, this is something that the player can target on purpose with their ability, with ammunition, to go ahead and get extra ammunition. And then once the player has linked that the mana is how many bullets they have left, and the gold or how many clips they have left, they can start making all kinds of interesting decisions, and you, the person who's making the map for them, can make the map more interesting, make resources more or less scarce, and tweak enemies, circumstances, vision, and everything else that goes into this kind of action-adventure / limited future, used future setting. You can use this kind of thing for any number of things. You can use it for a tactical shooting game akin to Wasteland or possibly Fallout. You can use it for survival horror or the zombie apocalypse. I know a great number of zombie maps that are available in little war games that are very fun to play, but maybe you could make one that includes a resource system such as this.